It's a myth that the price of your clothing is what makes an outfit look expensive. A lot of it actually comes down to the styling, how you've put together an outfit and understanding the nuances. It's not because she's shopping at the Row, it's because she understands the details. And today I wanted to unpack these, what we can do to elevate our outfits, add in that instant sense of polish, and make even the most affordable pieces in our wardrobe look and feel more expensive than they actually were. A good starting place is the foundation of our look. Think fit, color, and fabric. So for fit, there are 3 different categories. We've got good, better, and best. Good is when something fits you, but it's not really doing anything special. It's not kind of shining on you at all. Better is when something really works with your body shape. It kind of feels like it tapers and highlights your best features. Best is when a piece feels like it was literally made for you, like you were the person that it was created for and absolutely nobody else. It's a small detail, but it's why I place a lot of importance in doing so much research and finding the perfect piece for you, or actually spending that little bit of extra money to get an item tailored. Also, just thinking about the way our clothing fits, tailored items tend to read as more elegant, more refined than more casual, slouchy, or really stretchy pieces. It's because they have a bit of structure to them, which we instantly associate with being something that is more formal, that kind of sits higher in that hierarchy of the different elements of our life. It feels like we're putting in that bit more extra effort and probably spending a little bit more there too. I think it's also important to note that pressed clothing is always going to look more expensive than clothing that is wrinkled. And you can't deny how much steaming or ironing a garment will instantly lift it and make it feel more polished, more elegant. A crumpled outfit looks kind of sloppy, it looks messy, and it looks like you didn't put a lot of effort in or very much care. And this is a funny thing, but I've noticed that with our more expensive items, we tend to look after them better, we tend to care for them better, which by association extends the life of the garment, and we really should be treating all of our clothing, both expensive and inexpensive ones, with the same type of care. I think also taking note of where sleeves end. So an oversized blazer is always going to lean more into that casual styling trope as a result, whereas a blazer that finishes really nicely at the wrist or is bracelet length is instantly going to feel more elevated, more elegant. And I know I keep repeating these words, but I think that they are ones that we often do associate with this idea of luxury and outfits feeling and looking expensive. The final note on fit would have to be creating a defined waistline. Now, arguably one of the most flattering shapes we can create on our bodies is to accentuate this X-shaped silhouette, which we can actually fake using different proportions in our clothing. But just the very act of defining the waist, this is a signal that an outfit is a little bit more polished, more done up, that you've kind of put in the effort as opposed to it being effortless. I want to move on to fabric and texture and how these align and make an outfit feel more visually rich, but also make a piece feel more expensive than it actually was. And this part of the video does include a paid integration with 525 America, and I'm actually delighted to be sharing a closer look at some of their knitwear pieces with you today. I have one particular top, which every time I wear this, I always get questions about where it's from. It's 525 American, it's 100% cotton. And I'm gonna share with you some new in pieces. Now, 525 America are currently running their Black Friday sale, so you can get up to 30% off. It's a tiered discount depending on spend, and you can stack my code Jamie10 to get an additional 10% off your order. I will have all these details on screen and down in the description box below, along with linking the pieces that I share with you today. I feel like it's definitely a really good time to buy if you've had your eye on any of their knitwear, as you're not going to find it priced lower any other time of the year. Now, where fabric can actually make an outfit look more expensive is in the composition, and I find it's natural fibers that do a really good job of visually signaling this. And I always seek this out, particularly in my knitwear. I think that there is just no contest between how a natural fiber knitwear piece looks and a synthetic looks, especially over time as you're laundering, wearing the item, and it kind of goes through those phases of wear and tear. So the knit that I'm actually wearing right now, this one is one of their beautiful V-neck knits. It's in a merino wool and cashmere blend, so 70% wool, 30% cashmere, and it feels so luxurious to the touch. It has this beautiful kind of fluffy feel on the hand, and I also really love the addition of the ribbed texture and these lovely wide sleeves as well. It just feels a little bit more designed, very intentional, very chic. Paired to the white trousers, which we're going to get to color very, very soon. I just feel like it looks very high-end, very expensive, very, very luxurious. But some of my other favorite knits from 525 America are actually their cotton sweaters, which is really what they're known for. They've been around since 1983, and this is what they built the brand on. And the wonderful thing about their cotton knits is that they age so beautifully. So one of my favorites, which I wore loads at the start of the year, and I'm excited to be bringing it back out again now that we're in spring in Sydney, is this icy blue cable knit sweater vest. So great to wear as a tank on its own, and I've laundered mine many times, and the cotton has just softened up so lovely. You have that beautiful texture with the cable knitted design, which I think adds so much visual value to an outfit. I have this stunning cable knitted cardigan, and this actually has two variations on the knit. So you've got the ribbing and you have the cable knit, and this is a lot heavier weight. It definitely has that softness from the cotton, but then it also holds its shape really beautifully. And this one has a little bit of a waisted effect too, which I think is very, very chic and feels very elegant and ladylike. And that leans into my point I mentioned earlier about the silhouette. And I do find the knits fit true to size, by the way, so stick with your usual size. But something I really love the idea of is layering knits that are in the same color. So I have this stunning sweater tank, and this one here is just in a simple rib knit, but paired with the cardigan over the top, it just is so dynamic, so visually interesting and texture rich. There's a lot to look at, and it instantly elevates an outfit. And then finally, I did just want to touch on another one of their knits, and this is the same blend as the V-neck sweater I have on now. This is their roll neck knit. The yarn has a kind of soft sheen to it as well, and to me, this is kind of the perfect staple for creating a very luxurious looking minimal outfit. Natural fibers to me look richer, and it's not just from the texture, but it also comes down to the density of the knit. I find that much thicker knits always feel a little bit more premium, a little bit more expensive than they might be, because they do create that sense of structure in an outfit that can be really compelling. So don't forget, you can use my code JAMIE10 to save an additional 10% off 525 America's Black Friday sale. Definitely a good time to buy. And I feel like this leads really nicely into my next point, which is kind of around color and the way that tonal dressing really feels quite elegant, refined, and tends to come across looking a little bit more expensive. And there's a reason why I personally love tonal dressing, because it does feel effortless, even if the outfit itself is effortful. Monochrome dressing and low contrast dressing in general tend to have this level of quiet sophistication naturally attached, and I think that's part of why we find these outfits so appealing. I mean, if you've ever looked at someone wearing an all cream outfit, you've probably thought that outfit looks expensive. And also, this is someone who is so unbothered, because what if you spill something on yourself? And all I can say is thank goodness for Nappy Sand, because that has saved so many of my jeans from all the grubby marks that I've gotten on them from my kids. And what's interesting to me is how color can really make or break our perception of quality. And of course, this does tie into the fabric that's being used to really highlight that color. But I feel like we naturally associate these neutrals, you know, whether it's the kind of creams and whites that I'm wearing right now, or things like deep navies, really lovely soft grays, or even black, with this sense of luxury. It kind of, I guess, leans into that concept of stealth wealth, of quiet luxury, which I know both those things are problematic in of themselves, but for some reason, it's where our mind automatically goes. It definitely feels like a bit of an unspoken stereotype, but I have a theory as to why. Because when we really limit the number of colors that we have in our outfits, it feels calm. When we have a lot going on, it can feel chaotic, overwhelming, really loud and shouty. Whereas when we are dialing things back, going up to no more than 3 colors in our look, which sticks to that 3 color rule you all know I love so much, it reads as very kind of cohesive. There's a sense of harmony and balance in our outfit, and I think this ties into what we consider an expensive outfit to look like. There are also little styling moves that we can use to make our outfits feel more expensive. So I mentioned earlier the tuck, instantly going to add polish to your look and feel a lot more lifted and elevated. But another detail is to add a belt. Again, it's that sense of refinement, and it really highlights the waist and creates that structure in an outfit. Thinking about how we balance out our proportions, and this doesn't necessarily need to be slim and slouchy, but it could mean soft and structured. So essentially the pairing that I have on right now with this soft, sort of slouchy sweater, and then the more structured, tailored pant. Being in that monochromatic tonal color palette again kind of ties into all of these concepts which make the outfit look more expensive than it is, which the belt itself is a really nice affordable find from Quince, and I feel like you would never know. And it's details like this which draw the eye deliberately, and quite often when we are thinking about these more expensive outfits, it's little subtle details, subtle cues that we are instantly tuned into that aren't feeling like they're overwhelming the outfit. I think also that lack of visible logos, so this really does lean into that bold versus quieter, softer styling. So the bold and louder looks being ones that are quite kind of punchy, that really grab your attention, whereas the softer, quieter ones, which look more expensive, by contrast, tend to really whisper to you. Finishing touches can be when we add in that final feel of luxury to our outfits, and details really matter. So having shoes that are clean and polished and not scuffed up and lived in. And I want to point out that that in of itself really is a privilege. But I do think that we can easily look after and maintain our items so that they do hold up over time and continue to have that luxurious appearance, even if they were more of an affordable find. So making sure that we do have some shoe polish in our homes, and then we are regularly resoling our shoes so that we can extend their natural life beyond the initial season, because no one wants to be replacing their shoes every single year if they can avoid it. Choosing jewelry that's very clean and minimal, quite elegant and dainty, as opposed to jewelry pieces that take up a lot of volume and space, because that in of itself is drawing attention. So you'd be avoiding an earring like what I've got on right now, though I do love these and I feel like they quite enhance the look for something that feels a bit more unique and personalized. And I think herein lies the beauty of how we can adapt these styling tips, because I personally like these earrings, and this here is what makes the outfit feel more unique and more like me. So adding in those touches too, that is going to kind of help you to step away from the crowd and not look like a carbon copy of everybody else who is kind of dressing in the same way. The accessories we choose too, from our footwear to our bags, are also going to lean into this idea of luxury and expensive outfits. So thinking about pieces that are a little bit more cleaner and simpler, that don't have any bells and whistles, they are always going to look a little bit more polished, and I feel like this is where you can really, really fake it, especially in the shoe department, because you could easily get a pair of $100 leather shoes that are going to look just as expensive as ones you spent $500 on. And there's also a really good range of mid-tier price bags, even ones under the $300 mark, that are real leather. It all just takes a little bit of searching, and I do have a couple of favorites which I'll put on screen that I've seen recently, which I feel deliver on that quiet luxury expensive element, but they definitely aren't giving designer price point. The final 2 points which will make your outfit look more expensive than it is relate back to grooming and also how we hold our bodies, so poise. So thinking about grooming, our outfit isn't just what we're wearing, it's also how we have done our makeup and how we've done our hair. And I can tell you now that hair fairy is so real. I feel like when you put a little bit more effort into how you have styled your hair, your outfit will instantly look lifted no matter what you have on. Doesn't matter if it's a casual outfit or not, but our hair plays a bigger role than you would think. And do a little bit of an experiment at home if you don't believe me, but seriously, you will notice a difference. Also, just in our makeup, putting on a nice lipstick, that adds in that signal that we're kind of trying a little bit more, that we are putting it on with intention. We want to put an effort to look nice. And when we want to put in that effort to look nice, our outfit ends up looking a bit more expensive. And of course, I want to end with posture, because this is something that you can do instantly to transform the way your outfit looks, and it doesn't involve any styling or putting on any makeup at all. Basically, if you hold your body with grace, with poise, upright, shoulders back, you have your body straight, it's going to allow your clothing to drape so much more nicely, the way it was intended. Because when we're hunched over, it feels like we lack confidence. We're not sure about what we're wearing, and the clothing is wearing us rather than the other way around. And naturally, I think we tie in the sense of confidence, this poise, this grace, with an outfit looking elegant and also just feeling more expensive than it actually is. So those are some of the tools that we can use to make an outfit look and feel more expensive than it actually is. And when we distill it down to the minute details, a lot of it comes back to the sense of restraint, subtlety in our styling, creating balance in our looks, but also opting for more of a softer, subtler, quieter outfit as opposed to something that feels really loud and outspoken. And this is going to come down to personal preference. And this is not to say that outfits that fit outside of these boundaries don't look good or don't look expensive, but more so that these are some really quick tricks that you can use to really elevate your items, especially as you do begin your journey in building up your wardrobe, or if you really want to kind of nail that effortless, elegant look. I hope that you found this video useful. You got some really good styling ideas that you can apply to your own wardrobes. So thank you so much for watching. And if you did enjoy it, I'd love for you to subscribe because I share a lot of styling advice, brand reviews, and how to make the most of your wardrobe. If any of the 525 American knits that I shared caught your eye, then I will have the discount code on screen and down in the description box. Again, thank you so much for being here. Have the most beautiful week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one. See you soon. Bye.